I'm John Dornan, the Minister of Health, and it's my pleasure to be your MC for today's announcement. Before we begin, we want to respectfully acknowledge that New Brunswick is situated on the unceded and unsurrendered territories of the Wetaskiwé, Mi'kmaq, and Pescamactadi peoples. We seek to repair and rebuild meaningful relationships with Indigenous peoples and honor these lands which hold the hopes of all our future generations. Today we're here to mark an important milestone in our province with the release of our strategic and action plan for Alzheimer's disease and dementia. This morning we will hear from the following speakers: Premier Susan Holt, Honorable Lyne Chantal Boudreau, Minister responsible for seniors, Chandra MacBean, Executive Director of Alzheimer's Society of New Brunswick, and a special guest. At this time I'd like to welcome Premier Susan Holt to the podium.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dornan, and thank you, Chandra, and your whole team for letting us be in your space today to make this much-awaited announcement. We are thrilled to announce the launch of the plan that has been the work of many, many people, and that's something I know my colleagues will talk about, but we are launching the 3-year strategy and action plan for Alzheimer's disease and dementia. And this is a plan that focuses on people and making sure that we have the risks of dementia reduced, that public education and awareness that helps us do that, timely diagnosis and support, and make sure that people who are on a dementia journey and their care partners are valued and supported all the way through. Our commitment as a province is that no one should walk a dementia journey alone. And our 3-year plan sets out to ensure that that will no longer be the case in New Brunswick. Nous sommes vraiment fiers d'être ici pour annoncer notre plan de 3 ans, une stratégie et un plan d'action pour la maladie d'Alzheimer's et la démence. C'est un plan qui a été informé par plusieurs voix. Il y en a quelques-uns et une qui sont dans la salle aujourd'hui. Et c'est un plan qui a un focus sur les individuels, ceux qui vivent avec la démence et leurs partenaires, leurs proches aidants. Parce que notre objectif comme gouvernement, c'est d'assurer que personne doit vivre, parcourir une expérience de démence tout seul. Notre objectif, c'est d'assurer d'ici au Nouveau-Brunswick qu'ils vont avoir le support dont ils méritent et qui sont toutes valorisés durant le processus. We are very lucky to have partners like the Alzheimer's Society of New Brunswick in this work, who have put a lot of time and energy into this plan over many, many, many months. The plan was informed by more than 1,700 voices of people living with dementia, of their care partners, of healthcare professionals, of community members, of organizations like this, and researchers. And it is an exciting starting place. We have a plan for the next 3 years, and I'm pleased to share that we are going to be contributing $1 million to the Alzheimer's Society to aid in the implementation of the actions that you'll find in the plan today. Alzheimer's and the dementia journey is something that touches a lot of New Brunswickers. It's something that touches my family with my uncles on my father's side. It's something that I know touches people in this room, whether it's their neighbor, their loved one, themselves. And if you, hopefully each of you will read the strategy completely, you'll see the voices of what we heard and people describing an experience that went undiagnosed for too long, and the need for us to provide the support to the workforce and the education to primary care providers and others so that they can identify and diagnose and direct people sooner. You'll hear the voices talk about how lonely the journey can be, not knowing where to turn, not knowing who to ask for help, maybe still some stigma in describing what you might personally be experiencing as someone living with dementia or the challenges your care partners are facing. And we want to make sure that those supports, those navigations, that place that you can go is something that all New Brunswickers are aware of. parce qu'on a des communautés ici qui sont prêtes et qui commencent à assurer qu'ils sont des communautés qui peuvent accueillir et supporter les personnes qui vivent avec la démence et Alzheimer's. On a des organisations et des partenaires qui font un travail incroyable pour supporter tous les besoins et on veut aller plus loin. Dans les prochaines 3 années, on a des actions qu'on va faire concrètes avec nos partenaires pour que personne ne doive vivre cette expérience tout seul. I'm really proud of this work. It's going to make a difference in the lives of many, many New Brunswickers, both in that early diagnosis that we need, the public education work, the support for the workforce, and connecting all the pieces of care so that the journey and the load is lightened for everyone that's experiencing it. So with that, I want to thank particularly the people who are involved today and who will be speaking, the people who have put their heart and soul and their team's efforts into this work. It is a reflection of the voices that informed the strategy, and now we get to work on acting and making sure that the things that need to get done so that we can support that risk reduction and that connected care, that we're acting on those this year and next year and the year after, and we're getting better and better in supporting people living with dementia and their care partners here in New Brunswick. So I'm really proud of the work. Thank you. Un gros, gros, gros merci pour tout le monde qui a informé ce travail, qui a fait l'effort durant plusieurs mois, plusieurs années, honnêtement. C'est un travail de plusieurs années. Je suis fière que notre gouvernement, qui a fait une promesse électorale dans la fin de 2024, qu'on allait avoir une stratégie, on allait le mettre en place, qu'on est ici aujourd'hui avec cette promesse tenue. It's something that we committed to. I know Chandra had come to see me many times when I'm in opposition saying, we need to do this. When is it going to happen? I want it in the platform. We put it in the platform, we committed to it, and I'm thrilled that we are here today accomplishing the promise of having a dementia strategy in place for New Brunswick, and now we get to work acting on it. So thank you, everyone, and I will turn it over to Minister Lyne Chantal Boudreau. C'est à votre tour de partager quelques paroles.
Wow, it's always hard to speak after her. It's not fair. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor for me to be here today as Minister responsible for seniors, surrounded by all of people who share such a strong commitment to building a better future for New Brunswickers living with Alzheimer's disease and dementia, as well as their care partners. I'd like to start to thanking my colleague and Minister of Health, Minister Dornan, for these opening remarks. And of course, thanks a lot to our Premier Susan Holt for today's announcement and her leadership on these important issues. And of course, a special thank you to Alzheimer's Society of New Brunswick for hosting us here, beautiful place, us here today, and for essential role in supporting so many across our province. And thank you so much for Chandra and all your team and all of volunteers who are here with us together today. You are true partners in this. Nothing about us without us. This guiding mantra reminds us that every effort we make must center on the voices of those living with dementia and their care partners. It's through their lived experience that we learn a lot, and what it's really need to build a better future for New Brunswickers. Today's announcement represents a significant step forward for our province. Alzheimer's disease and dementia already touch the lives of thousands of New Brunswickers. Many of us have parents, grandparents, friends, and neighbors traveling this journey. We know that this number will sadly continue to rise. That's why the release of strategy and action plans for Alzheimer's disease and dementia matters so much for our government and for all of us. It's about building a New Brunswick where no one traveled the dementia journey alone. Il s'agit d'assurer de la dignité, de la compassion et des soins à chaque personne concernée et de rendre visible l'invisible grâce à la sensibilisation, à la compréhension et à l'action. Cette stratégie s'appuie sur les contributions de plus de 1 700 personnes à travers la province, des personnes vivant avec un trouble neurocognitif, leurs proches aidants, des professionnels de la santé et des chefs des communautés. Their stories have shed off on 4 priorities. It's preventing risk, early diagnosis, coordinated care, and ensuring continued support. We knew that facing dementia can feel overwhelming and uncertain. This strategy underscores our commitment to a future where support is available every step of the way. In partnership with Alzheimer's Society of New Brunswick, we've commitment to 1 million enhanced programs and services. Together, we will continue working to build a system that care that adapts to the real needs of people for our province. Oops. It's not just about services, but it's about people. C'est une affirmation que chaque personne de notre province mérite d'avoir l'opportunité de vivre une vie épanouissante et rester connectée et surtout se sentir soutenue. Peu importe les défis auxquels elle fait face et peu importe d'où elle vient à travers le Nouveau-Brunswick. C'est très important de penser aussi qu'il y a des régions en ruralité, des régions qui sont très éloignées dans la province, mais que ces personnes-là aussi reçoivent le meilleur soutien possible à travers l'expérience qu'elles vivent. While we know that strategy will not serve every issue overnight, it is important to starting point. We are ready to continue to work ahead, of course. As Minister responsible for seniors, I've seen firsthand the dedication of families, care partners, health professionals, and community organizations. Their compassion transforms lives. They perform vital work for seniors. Our government's commitment to create a dementia-friendly communities and ensuring care is accessible, equitable, and rooted in collaboration. We believe in a future care is built on kindness and cultural understanding a future New Brunswickers deserve. Thank you to Premier Holt, my colleague, and to everyone who is here today to share the passion and determination to make a difference. Together, we can truly ensure that no one faces this journey alone. With that, I would like to invite Chandra MacBean, the Executive Director of Alzheimer Society of New Brunswick, to share a few words. Thank you. Merci.
So thank you, everyone, for being here today. Unlike Premier Holt, who can just rattle off the most beautiful, well-pulled-together thoughts and sentiments without notes, I don't know how you do it, I do have some notes. But before I dive into that, I just want to acknowledge Premier, Ministers. Thank you so much for being here. Veronique, for being here, who's been a true partner in all of this. Board members, our staff who are here, and the media for helping us tell this really, really exciting story. So thank you all for being here and for being a part of this really, really exciting day. So today's announcement represents a powerful investment, an investment in community, in people living with dementia, and in those who care for them each and every day. We all know the pressures our health system are facing. We see it in the headlines. We feel it in our communities. We experience it personally when the access to care that we need is delayed or unavailable. This government is making important investments in what we can easily point to. We see that in the primary care clinics, recruitment, compensation of allied health professionals, doctors, nurses. We can see all of those things. But funding a dementia strategy and action plan for New Brunswick is also an investment in something that is just as essential, though often less visible: strong, accessible community supports. We know that when people living with dementia and their families have access to timely information, future planning tools, education, navigation support, they are better able to manage the journey, and they're able to do this with confidence, with dignity, and with hope for much longer than they could otherwise. The evidence is clear. Strong community supports improve quality of life and help people remain at home longer, rather than in emergency rooms or hospital beds while waiting for long-term care placement. And that's what New Brunswickers want, to live in their communities for as long as possible, surrounded by the people and places that matter most. You may have noticed a lot of us wearing our forget-me-not pins today. So January is Awareness Month, where Alzheimer's societies across the country come together and we work to educate, raise awareness, reduce stigma. And we really encourage people to learn about dementia and its impacts. So the fact that this is happening in January, I don't know if that was intentional, but if so, good work. And this year's message is powerful, but it's simple. And it fits very well with the words that you shared, Minister Boudreau. Forget no one, because no one should have to face dementia alone. Too many people still don't know that we are here as an organization to help. More than half of Canadians say that they are worried that they will develop dementia, and close to half also fear losing their independence if diagnosed. Even more concerning, 1 in 4 Canadians say they would rather not know if they had dementia. 1 in 4 Canadians would rather not know. That is stigma. And stigma delays diagnosis. It limits access to support. It isolates the very people who need those connections most. This funding will not only allow us to expand programs like memory cafes and Minds in Motion and access to free counseling and education, but also to strengthen public awareness, to increase dementia-friendly communities and lead vital conversations about risk reduction and early support. We are grateful for this investment that we know will change the experience of living with dementia in our province. And so because I have the microphone, I would like to extend my deepest thanks to Vero again, who has led this work within the Department of Health. Vero, your commitment has made all of the difference to ensuring not only better outcomes as a part of this strategy, but that the voices of people living with dementia and their families were truly heard. Oh, don't start that. That those voices were truly heard and truly reflected in the plan that we've created together. You have been an incredible partner, and I'm so excited to continue to work on this important work and bring this plan to life. Thank you again to the Government of New Brunswick for this meaningful investment and for sending a clear message today that people living with dementia matter, that families deserve support, and that together we are building a more compassionate and connected system of care. So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Jane Van Horne. Jane brings a perspective that is both deeply personal and is deeply professional and also profoundly personal. She has spent her career as a nurse in long-term care and has lived this journey as a daughter supporting her father with dementia, and now as a spouse caring for a partner. Before inviting Jane to the podium, I want to take a moment to express my sincere appreciation to you, Jane, for being willing to share your story. It's one thing for us to get up and speak publicly about something that we believe in, that we're passionate about, that we care so deeply about, but it's entirely something else for you to open up your life and your heart to share these personal experiences. So we want to thank you for that. Your willingness to do this really matters because as we talk about stigma, your voice helps to break down stigma. It builds understanding and reminds us all why this work is so very important. So with that, I'd like to welcome you up to the podium.
Well, it's a small group, but a daunting group. But thanks, Chandra, Nicole, to allow me to say a few words from a family perspective. I'm not comfortable usually sharing from a family perspective. Look at the board, Strategy and Action Plan for Alzheimer's Disease and Dementia. Dementia is not Alzheimer's disease. Premier Holt, in your team, this is a wonderful announcement. And I learned yesterday it's the result of 10 years of consultation by 3 consecutive governments. And that in itself is very amazing. Like you said, I'm a retired long-term care nurse. We lived in Campbellton for 40 years. I'm the daughter of a dad, now deceased, who had vascular dementia. And now I'm the wife of a spouse who has the same struggles. And it was the Alzheimer Society of New Brunswick, this great and knowledgeable staff, who have been the godsend for us. Dementia is so unique to each individual and each family who struggle with the diagnosis. Our journey has been ongoing for at least 5 years, maybe longer, progressing, thank God, but not debilitating to the extent we dreaded. ASNB was also there for me and my birth family over 15 years ago when I was a remote caregiver, supporting my elderly mom in her 80s, caring for her husband, my father, and he lived until the end and died from home. He was on his way to a Rotary Club meeting and died suddenly. It's a surreal situation that I found myself in. I never thought I'd be needing ASNB's support again all these years later, but here we are. We don't get to choose. I've seen the progression and expansion of services, thank goodness. First Link, support groups both in person and online, memory cafes, the community outreach services expanding to give education to the general public. You First, previously what I thought was an education for nursing home employees, but now out in the community teaching families how to interpret behavior and react appropriately. And sometimes it's in our reactions that we create the problems. This announcement solidifies these services. It will be money well spent. And when you said 3 years, I'm thinking, I hope this takes on a life of its own. I've always been a firm believer in aging in place, and particularly in cases in the types of dementia when it can be possible. New Brunswickers do want to remain in their homes for the most part. But families need to be supported, empowered, and most of all, encouraged. When I reached out 5 years ago for my immediate family and for me, I received the reassurance that I will never be alone in this journey. I will never be alone in this journey, and that ASNB will be with us all the way. So how great is that, particularly on the days when you wonder how long will the journey be, or will we be able to prevail? They know our story. Remaining home is far less expensive for the healthcare system, but it will always require support for families and individuals. There's no recovery here. The Nursing Home Without Walls program, the extramural program, and other key players are pivotal in ensuring that the support continues. Depending on the age of the family who enters into the journey, it can be very daunting, very scary, and very isolating. But the ASNB has helped me and my loved ones be comfortable speaking about my spouse's diagnosis, and as my spouse himself now feels comfortable speaking about it. And by the way, thanks for being here, for putting your feet on the floor early this morning and being my moral support. My level of comfort asking for support is improving, but asking for help is by no means easy, especially if you think you should already know it all. I want to close with a comment about the stigma already mentioned here surrounding dementia. It is diminishing, but my goodness, it's still out in the community. And it's not easy hearing, oh, poor you, because it really isn't poor us. We're simply dealing with what we have to deal with. So think about the families you'll be helping who get help sooner and more proactively, and think about the money you'll save by intervening and offering help at the appropriate time. It should relieve pressure on several acute care services. This announcement is another step in the right direction. We, ourselves, my family, will certainly continue to be a grateful part of it all. Thank you.
Les troubles neurocognitifs ne sont pas seulement un problème de santé. Ils constituent un défi touchant tous les aspects de notre système. This strategy and action plan is the foundation for a stronger, more connected system that integrates dementia care into health services and ensures providers have the tools and training they need to deliver timely, compassionate, and person-centered care. Ces mesures nous aideront à passer de suivi fragmenté à un système qui fonctionne de manière transparente pour les patients et leurs familles. Cette stratégie s'aligne sur la vision de notre plan provincial de la santé qui consisterait à mettre en place un système de santé connecté, fondé sur la collaboration et l'innovation pour améliorer les résultats. By integrating dementia care into this framework, we are creating a system that is proactive, responsible, and sustainable. I want to thank you all and all our speakers for being here today. This concludes the announcement portion of today's event.